All right, Schlockmeister fans, from Dark Force Entertainment, we're going to watch something here called Dr. Death, Seeker of Souls. Let's check it out. This is Fred Saunders. His beloved wife, Laura, is dying. And now she's dead. Fast forward to her tomb. She has specific orders.
To be alone. And please, this tomb is never to be locked. It's never to be locked, do you understand? Never.
He has plans for her.
I'll come back to you. I promise. I'll come back.
Is that in his head? How do you bring your wife back to life in the early 70s? Well, first of all, you have a seance.
Oh, wait. I think... Yes. Laura. Your wife.
Now, he believes in this garbage, but somehow he doesn't believe this. Busted. So back to the drawing board. Aha! Control your own reincarnation. That ought to work.
To be able to hold her and touch her.
So this is the woman on the other end of that phone.
And you found that this couldn't be achieved by false spiritualists who conduct phony seances, correct?
So she gets him in touch with this guy, Dr. Death.
May all those I love and cherish
May all those I love and cherish
be cursed with endless sufferings. A volunteer, please.
Sure, I'll volunteer.
That's Mo Howard of the Three Stooges. He has to verify that this woman is
Now we can
dead.
listen to see if there is any heartbeat.
Oh, why, certainly.
So they're all sworn to secrecy to what they see tonight, including the sawing of this injured woman in half. She fell into some sort of acid or something or got burned. So as her soul was departing, he took the soul and put it into the dead woman, and voila! The dead woman is now a live woman.
There.
He said it was murder.
Murder? Such an ugly word, Mr. Saunders.
What would you call it, Doctor?
A means to an end.
So he heads out to the tomb and sees a vision, a ghostly image of his lovely wife, Laura. Meanwhile, Dr. Death enjoys the fruits of his labor, the woman he brought back to life.
I'll be back shortly to examine the extent of such gratitude.
I've been waiting.
Of course, Dr. Death already has a woman, and she's a little jealous of
That?
her.
Yes. This.
Perhaps your wife.
You name it.
$50,000 in cash in advance.
Mr. Saunders had a change of heart,
I can arrange that.
and it's going to cost him a lot of money to bring his wife back. We get a
Naturally,
flashback
I
of
swallowed
many,
the wine,
like 1,000 years
not
ago,
after
how
what I
he
put into
first,
it.
his first victim, how he basically
Thirsty
transferred
young
his soul
serf.
into
Not
that of
used to
a
having
guy
such
he just
quality
killed.
beverages later.
He was then able to transfer
Thanks to
his
my
soul,
formula,
after he killed
my
himself
soul
then,
left that
to
old
go into the body of the
and
guy
into
he
the
just
body of the
killed.
young serf.
And that guy comes back to life, and
So
that's how he's been able to live
returned to
1,000
the once
years.
dead young man. Life provided by my soul. With the only
rinse and
body at my
repeat
disposal
over and
was
over
that
again
of a
for 1,000
beautiful
years.
woman. I had to kill the poor thing.
So he shows Fred how he's going to do it. His buddy Thor there, from Hogan's Heroes, kills the woman.
Next stop, your wife's tomb.
So that's her soul. So the soul is commanded to go inside Laura.
I command you, enter that body.
But for some reason, the soul refuses.
I don't understand.
Well, you paid him $50,000. By God, he was going to try it again. So this woman was having car trouble on the side of the road. They killed her. Back at the tomb for round 2.
Enter that body. Enter that body. I
And
command
another failure.
you, enter that body.
He interrupts a couple making out. Guy pulls a knife on him, stabs him, and whoa! Some sort of black acid blood. But alas, another failure.
This soul of mine even affects my blood.
So he tries again.
I command you, enter that body. Why do you reject these beautiful souls? They're beautiful.
Meanwhile, Fred gets a message from his wife.
Let me rest in peace. Please. Let me rest in peace.
They asked Thor to kill a woman in a telephone booth. Another couple.
Amateur. And now, young lady, I'll show you how a professional frightens the girls. Enter that body.
Fred has now moved on to his secretary, Sherry, Sandy. But just to prove that Dr. Death is still working for him, sends him ahead. Not sure what the point there was, but
This is to let you know I'm still trying.
I thought you'd be happy to know that I've solved our problem.
Didn't I tell you I didn't want to see you again? Now leave me alone.
But I've discovered how to bring your beloved Laura back to life.
he's chosen Sandy because she has the perfect soul.
I'm sure Mr. Saunders told you how interested I am in your rather unique soul.
You're insane.
You're very beautiful. It's a pity there isn't time to appreciate it. To ensure the fact your soul leaves that beautiful body of yours in a nice, serene manner, I'm afraid I'm going to have to bleed you to death in a nice, serene manner. Now, this will be completely painless. For me, that is.
But during the process of bleeding her out, the cops come in first and they end up shooting Thor. And Dr. Death runs away. And they get to her just in time before she bled out enough to kill her.
Doctor, they took her out of the tomb. They buried her.
Where?
On the hill.
He goes back to the cemetery.
Oh,
Why? Because he's going to switch bodies with her. I believe he killed himself. And that's his soul escaping. And there's Laura in her coffin. And there she is.
Fred, I've come back, darling. I've come back.
I've come back. Oh, yes, I've come back.
All right, let's talk about this movie, Dr. Death, Seeker of Souls. This is put out by Dark Force Entertainment. This is disc number 23 of their drive-in double feature discs that have been coming out the last several years. I have all 23. This one is brand new as I'm taping this. Just came in this week, actually. So what we have here, oh, by the way, the other movie is Crypt of the Living Dead, otherwise known as Young Hannah, Queen of the Vampires. But anyway, the movie itself here, I'd never seen this before. I don't think I'd ever even heard of it. From 1974, I think it was, or 72, 73. I don't know, one of those early 70s years. This movie features a guy. He's a magician. He can bring people back to life. What he does is he takes their, well, he kills people actually, kills them, and as their soul is escaping, he captures their soul. Then he can put that soul into another person and bring that person, into a dead person, I should say, and bring that person back to life. So basically, he charges people, hey, you want to bring back your wife, your husband, your grandma, your grandpa, your kid, whatever, $50,000 and I'll do it for you. So he's just got to get the corpse and then he's going to have to kill somebody. So this guy named Fred Saunders, whose wife Laura recently died, misses her terribly and wants to hire him. So that's what he does. So it's never happened before, but the first time he attempts to take a soul and put it into the new body, or the old body, I should say, Laura's body, the soul refuses to go in there. He's like, what the hell? This has never happened before. I guess I'll have to go kill somebody else. So he keeps trying over and over again. None of the people he kills goes into their souls will not go into the dead body of Laura, and he doesn't understand why. Meanwhile, Mr. Saunders is seeing a shrink and all kinds of things. He's missed his wife, and basically he hears a voice of his wife in the night while he's sleeping saying, let me rest in peace, let me rest in peace, which was interesting because at her funeral at the very beginning of the movie, we heard her voice saying, I'll come back to you, I'll come back to you. Now, was that in his head? I don't even know. But whatever the case is, he decides, okay, I'm going to let her rest in peace, and I'm going to start stooping my secretary, Sandy. So he and Sandy start hanging out together and become a couple. He tells Dr. Death, stop what you're doing, I'm done. But Dr. Death is undaunted. He got paid $50,000 and he's going to keep trying until he succeeds. So he figures out that he has to have the perfect soul. And ultimately he finds the perfect soul in Sandy, the secretary that Mr. Saunders is seeing now. So he wants to kill her. He kidnaps her, excuse me, brings it back to his place, and starts to bleed her. And in that process, though, Mr. Saunders and the cops burst in. They kill Thor, the guy from Hogan's Heroes, who is like his henchman in this movie. And they rescue Sandy before she bleeds out completely. Dr. Death escapes, gets into a van with a couple of hippies, and says, drop me off at the cemetery. He goes to the cemetery. He's in cahoots with the gravedigger there, and he tells her, well, Mr. Saunders had her buried. She used to be in a tomb, so he could try this over and over again, but he had her buried, so he's like, God damn it, I gotta go get her out of that grave. Why? Well, Dr. Death has been around for 1,000 years, and he's been killing himself and passing his own soul into people he had just killed, so that's why he's been around forever. So he decides to kill himself in front of the coffin after he digs her up and let his soul go into Laura. Laura was her name. And it works this time. Laura comes out of the coffin, and it's actually Dr. Death inside. There you go. That's Dr. Death. You know what? I'd never seen this movie, like I said, never heard of it, but I enjoyed it quite a bit. No nudity in this movie, just a kind of like a goofy, fun horror movie from the early 70s, basically. It's well done for what it is. I mean, it's ridiculous, but it's fun. You know, it's over the top. The guy who played Dr. Death seemed to be having a great time. Kind of reminded me of Conrad Ragzoff, who was played by Ferdy Mayne in the movie Frightener, the 1982 movie Frightener. Kind of very similar voice, deep voice like that. And it was, again, this movie's just kind of fun. Just kind of like a spooky little film with a little over-the-top comedy in it as well. Maybe unintentional comedy, but so entertaining nonetheless. Now, again, this is just brand new. I don't know what this was going for, 25, 30 bucks or so. This is what it looks like out of the slipcover right there. So again, Dr. Death. I enjoyed this movie quite a bit. So I'll leave a link to something down below. If this disc is on Amazon already, I'll leave a link to that. Check it out. Leave some comments. Let me know if you've ever seen Dr. Death, Seeker of Souls. Watch it. Bye.